Why is it that some people stay mentally razor sharp into their 80s and 90s, while others feel like their memory started fading decades earlier? It's not just luck, and it's not just genetics, because somewhere out there, there's an 84-year-old who still remembers every grandchild's birthday, still does the crossword in pen, still tells stories without missing a beat. And maybe you're wondering why that's not you, or maybe it used to be you. If you found yourself forgetting names, walking into rooms and going blank, or grasping for the right word mid-sentence, you're not alone. And no, it doesn't always mean something's wrong, but it might mean your brain is asking for a little more support. Because here's what we've learned from the research, and from people who are still mentally sharp well past 80, it's not about doing more. It's about doing the right little things consistently. Now, before we dive into the list, let's try something fun. A simple challenge. I'm going to give you 3 words. Your only job? Remember them until we get to number 4 on our list. No repeating them out loud, no writing them down. Just quietly store them in your brain. Ready? Apple, chair, spoon. That's it. We'll check back in when the time comes. In the next few minutes, we'll walk through 7 powerful habits that many of these clear-minded, long-living individuals have in common. Some of them might surprise you. And more than one of these? You could actually start right now, with almost no effort at all. Let's get into it. Starting with something so simple, so ordinary, most people overlook its power entirely. Number 1, they move daily, even if just a little. It's easy to think staying mentally sharp is all about brain games and memory tricks. But the truth is, one of the best things you can do for your mind starts with your feet. Let me tell you about Harold. He's 82. He doesn't use an iPhone, thinks TikTok is a breath mint. But every morning, rain or shine, Harold walks to the end of his street just to check the mail. Now here's the thing. He knows the mail won't come until the afternoon. That walk isn't about letters. It's about routine, rhythm, and circulation. Because every step Harold takes is sending more blood, more oxygen, up to his brain. Here's what the science says. Just 15-30 minutes of daily walking can increase the size of the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. And the best part? It doesn't have to be power walking or marathons. Just movement, gentle and steady. Even walking the grocery store twice before checkout. Even marching in place while brushing your teeth. Think of it like this. The body carries the brain. And when the body stagnates, the mind slows down with it. Harold doesn't walk because he's trying to stay young. He walks because that little ritual makes him feel clear, alive, and connected to the world outside his window. So if you've been feeling cloudy or forgetful lately, don't start with a memory app. Start with your shoes. Now, and let's look at something else these mentally sharp folks have in common. It's not physical, but it might just be even more powerful. Number 2, they stay curious. There's something quietly magical about people who never stop asking questions. Even in their 80s or 90s, they still want to know how the toaster works, why birds fly in a V, or what the neighbor's kid is studying in college. They don't just go through the motions, they explore the motions. They poke, wonder, investigate, even if it's just with their eyes and ears. Let me tell you about June. She's 87, lives alone, and still gets the newspaper delivered. But she doesn't just read the headlines. She writes down words she doesn't recognize and looks them up later in a tattered old dictionary she's had since 1973. 1 new word a day, that's her rule. And when she finds one she really likes, she uses it in conversation, even if it's with her cat. Curiosity is brain fertilizer. Every time you ask why or how, you're forming new pathways, strengthening old ones, building what neuroscientists call cognitive reserve, the brain's backup system for staying sharp even when aging starts to slow things down. And here's the key. You don't need to become a trivia master. You just need to stay interested. Read a recipe you've never tried. Ask your grandkid to show you how their favorite app works. Google weird facts about turtles. Seriously, it's a rabbit hole. Because the moment you stop being curious, you start shrinking into routine. And the brain, it hates routine without stimulation. So, stay curious, ask, explore, wonder. And now, Let's shift to something you might not expect, but could be the biggest brain booster of all. Number 3, they have strong social ties. You've probably heard the phrase use it or lose it. But when it comes to your brain, that doesn't just mean puzzles and memory games, it means people. Because your brain, it's a social organ. We are wired to connect, to talk, laugh, listen, interrupt each other, roll our eyes, and nod in agreement. And when that rhythm disappears, the mind starts to shrink in more ways than one. Let me introduce you to Elsie. She's 90. She plays dominoes every Thursday night with 3 other women from her building. Same snack table, same complaints about the weather, same stories over and over. But you know what? Elsie is sharp. She remembers everyone's birthday, still balances her checkbook by hand, and has a killer memory for who owes her a favor. It's not the dominoes, it's the interaction, the shared laughs, the inside jokes, the gentle debate over whether a tile was played legally or not. Studies show that older adults with strong social connections have a 50% higher chance of living longer and staying mentally healthy while they do. Loneliness, on the other hand, has been called the new smoking. And for good reason. It's been linked to depression, memory loss, and even dementia. So maybe it's not about having hundreds of friends. Maybe it's about having one person who really sees you. One neighbor who knocks on your door. One voice on the other end of the phone who remembers your stories. Staying connected doesn't just keep your heart full, it keeps your mind alive. And speaking of keeping the mind alive, let's talk about something that many sharp seniors do every single day, without fail. It's simple, it's small, and it's one of the strongest predictors of long-term brain health. Number 4, they have a daily mental ritual. Okay, quick check-in. Do you remember those 3 words I gave you at the beginning? No pressure. Just take a moment. Can you recall them without rewinding the video? If they popped right into your head, that's a great sign. If not, don't worry. Most people struggle with short-term recall, especially when they're not allowed to repeat the words or write them down. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. But here's the good news. This exact section right here can help improve that. By the way, the words were apple, chair, and spoon. All right, so people who stay mentally sharp into their 80s and 90s almost always have one thing they do every day to stretch their brain. It doesn't need to be complicated, it doesn't need to be impressive, but it does need to be consistent. Let me tell you about Mr. Garcia. He's 86, retired math teacher. Every morning before breakfast, he sits at the kitchen table and does one Sudoku puzzle, just one. No timer, no pressure, just a quiet ritual to wake up his brain. He calls it coffee for the mind. Some people do crossword puzzles, some write in a journal, some review family birthdays and quiz themselves. Others sit with a deck of cards and play solitaire, not because they're bored, but because it keeps their mental gears turning. The point isn't what you do, it's that you do something every single day. You don't have to be brilliant, you just have to show up. Because the mind, like the body, responds to use, not intensity, consistency. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until a cavity forms. You do it daily to stay ahead of the decay. The brain works the same way. A 5-minute ritual repeated over time can help preserve decades of clarity. So if you haven't found your mental ritual yet, this might be the time to pick one. And now let's move from brain exercise to brain recovery. Because no matter how sharp someone is during the day, the real magic often happens while they sleep. Number 5, they sleep like it's sacred. Let's be honest, sleep isn't what it used to be. Maybe it takes longer to fall asleep. Maybe you wake up 3 times a night. Or maybe you just can't get comfortable like you did 20 years ago. But here's what most people don't realize. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. And for your brain, it's essential maintenance. Let me introduce you to Lorraine. She's 89, and every night, like clockwork, she shuts the house down at 8:30. No phone, no TV, no email. She makes a cup of chamomile tea, turns on a little jazz, and dims the lights in her kitchen while she wipes the counters. Lorraine calls it her brain-cleaning ritual because she knows something most people don't. While you sleep, your brain literally clears out waste. One of the key things it removes, proteins linked to Alzheimer's and dementia. So when sleep is shallow or interrupted, those proteins build up. And over time, they make thinking foggier, memory slower, and moods heavier. The people who stay mentally sharp don't necessarily sleep longer. They sleep better. They treat bedtime like a sacred transition. They keep it consistent. They wind down gently, and they listen to their bodies, even if it means leaving the party early. So if your brain's been feeling cluttered lately, you might not need another vitamin. You might just need a few nights of truly restful sleep. Just a quick note while we talk about sleep. Did you know that there are some simple nighttime habits that every day actually put seniors at risk of shortened lifespan or even not waking up at all? We put together a short video to reveal these 5 habits, and we'll put a link in the description below. Now, we've talked about the body, the brain, and even bedtime. But this last point, it might just be the secret sauce. Because the sharpest minds we've seen past 80 all seem to share one thing that isn't physical at all, but it changes everything. Number 6, they have a sense of purpose. There's something powerful about waking up and knowing why you're getting out of bed. It doesn't have to be grand, it doesn't have to change the world, but it has to feel like it matters. Let's talk about Clarence. He's 91, lost his wife 5 years ago. Doesn't drive anymore, his knees aren't great, and his memory's not perfect. But every morning, he feeds the birds. He knows which ones visit the yard. He talks to them like old friends, keeps a little notebook of what time they show up, what they like to eat. And you know what he told his daughter recently? He said, "If I don't feed them, who will?" That's purpose. Not glamorous, not headline-worthy, but real. Studies show that seniors with a strong sense of purpose have better memory, more energy, and lower risk of cognitive decline. In Okinawa, Japan, where many people live past 100, they have a word for this. Ikigai, it means reason to live. It might be tending a garden, helping raise a grandchild, volunteering at church, calling someone every Friday just to check in. Purpose doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be yours. Because the sharpest minds we see after 80, they're still engaged, still needed, still giving something to the world around them. And when your life still feels meaningful, your brain has a reason to stay awake. So ask yourself, what's something small or big that still gives you a reason to show up? Because the answer to that might just be the best brain medicine you've never taken. Number 7, they protect their emotional health. Here's something we don't talk about enough. Emotions don't just live in the heart. They leave fingerprints all over the brain. The people who stay mentally sharp after 80, they don't just do crosswords and drink green tea. They also let things go. Let me tell you about Marlene. She's 85, widowed twice, raised 5 kids, 4 of whom still call regularly. And when someone asked her how she stays so sharp, she didn't mention supplements. She said, "I don't carry what I can't fix. It's too heavy." Marlene forgives quickly. She laughs at the stuff she used to obsess over. And she's stopped replaying old regrets like a broken record. Emotional stress, especially the chronic kind, actually shrinks parts of the brain tied to memory and focus. Anxiety, resentment, guilt, all of it adds weight your mind was never built to carry for decades. But people like Marlene, they've learned to put it down. They journal, they talk to someone, they breathe, they cry and move forward. Not because it's easy, but because it's cleansing. If you've been holding on to old wounds, if you find yourself ruminating late at night, that's more common than you think. But just know, healing your heart may be the key to clearing your mind. So forgive, laugh a little easier, let some of the heaviness pass through, because peace of mind isn't just a feeling, it's protection for your brain. So now you've seen it, 7 small, powerful habits that mentally sharp people over 80 tend to share. None of them require a perfect brain, none of them require a fancy plan, just simple human practices done with intention. They move, they stay curious, they connect, they engage their minds every single day. They protect their sleep, they hold on to purpose. And maybe most important of all, they don't let their emotions rot in the basement. The truth is, you're not too late, you're not behind. And if things have felt foggy lately, that doesn't mean you're broken. Sometimes all it means is that your mind is asking you to come back, to be present, To treat it gently but actively. To stop bracing for decline and start practicing clarity. Pick one habit from this list, just one. Start today and notice what shifts. And if this helped you, even just a little, consider subscribing. It helps more than you know, or share it with someone who deserves to feel sharp, even if they've started to doubt it. We've also got a video that walks through the early signs of dementia and how to tell what's normal aging and what's not. You can find that linked in the description. And as always, stay strong.